Wondrous. Oh, that turns on too. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we can demo some stupid stuff.
Disney companies now become a rave party.
No raving with the Cosmic Cube.
Oh no, I have pizza in my mouth, you guys. I'm really sorry. There's pizza in my teeth. It's gonna be gross.
What?
It's gonna be really gross.
Nasty.
I'm so sorry. I really apologize for how gross.
I can't see
Barbaric.
Uh-oh, look at Tessa's face. Her face has exploded. Her face has exploded with joy.
There's far too much blue on this table.
As long as they don't start struggling.
We don't have that yet. We don't have strobe on ours yet.
I did that on purpose.
I know.
I know too many people with epilepsy.
Yeah. So we'll start. We'll let more people filter in. Oh, there's Ronan. Hi, Ronan.
Welcome to the AA meeting.
Hey, I got some Disney princesses up here. Do you want to be Disney princess too?
BCA.
I said I got some Disney princesses up here. You can be a Disney princess too.
I actually want to do that. I want to do a panel like that that's just all about like our horror.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, all about our horror stories and all the shit.
I think we should.
I think we should.
Let's do it.
You see something like that?
Oh, this is
Just to
gonna
be like, well, the main goal of it would be talking about how to overcome these problems.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start our panel. Can
I'm
everyone?
gonna go shut the door.
Yeah, we're gonna shut the doors because I am not very loud most of the time. So if you can't hear me at all, just speak up. Let me know. Throughout the duration of this panel, I do want to just say, if you have a question at all, in the middle of it, go ahead and raise your hand. That's what the whole point of this panel is we're going to talk to you guys about our experiences, how we got into cosplay, how to kind of start getting into the process, because I know a lot of people have those kinds of questions. And then, like I said, ask. We're more than happy to help. So we'll go ahead and start with introductions. I'm Erica, or Iki, from Cheeky Geeky Vaudeville. You are?
Fine, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go.
I'm Lily, or Snow, depending on where you find me. Cheeky Geeky, our cosplay page, in person at my job. And?
Oh. I guess it's me.
You're Loki of Asgard. We know that.
Loki of Asgard.
I'm Loki of Asgard. That's all you need to know about me.
So that's Jessica.
That's Jessica, or Ruby. She is our diva. She's our resident diva. And all of us have been costuming for quite some time. I think Jessa was probably the first one who's been into it for...
Since I was 6.
Yeah.
But it started on historical costuming.
Mine was, that stereotypical, hey, I'm 12 and I want to be Link. Let's get an oversized t-shirt and some Uggs and jam a belt buckle into my hand to try to make a hole. Just basics.
I probably started building props a lot earlier on, but I started doing full costume probably around 10-ish years ago. Mainly spawned on by peer pressure, really.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
But peer pressure of me. So I guess what we'll go ahead and start talking is, I guess, kind of what is cosplay. Most of you, I'm sure, already have an idea. Dressing up in costume at conventions. It's been going on since, a long time. 70s. Worldcon did have some earlier than that, but 70s is kind of like when most people recognize that, yes, this is a thing, this is taken off. And cosplay is derived from the words costume and play, so it's supposed to be fun. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I personally like to stress throughout all of this is it's fun. It should never at any point not be fun. Like, that's the whole point of cosplay is, you want to be smiling, you want to be having a great time with whatever you're wearing, with whatever you're doing. Hey.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess.
Oh, that's much better.
So I just want to stress that throughout the duration of this talk as well. I forgot what I was doing.
History of cosplay.
History of cosplay. Thank you. So it's kind of grown recently. Thank you guys. It's grown recently within the last, I want to say, probably 4 or 5 years, specifically with like larger name cosplayers coming onto the scene. Your Jessica Negris, your Yaya Hans, Crab Cat cosplay. Them, they are kind of the folks that have really skyrocketed this into being more mainstream and being something that more people really want to get involved with because, hey, it's fun. Like, it's fun. It looks cool. You get the chance to dress up and hang out and take really cool photos and make just amazing memories with people. Like, that's one of the reasons why Cheeky Geeky Vaudeville actually formed is because we are a bunch of cosplay nerds.
For those of you who don't know, Cheeky Geeky Vaudeville is a variety act show that we do in conjunction with MizCon, as well as an October show every year, where we take a bunch of people in costume and they do acts of all kinds. If you want to check it out later, you can talk to us. But that's not what you're here for now.
No. So, like I said, within recent years, it's become a lot more prevalent, and it's really starting to become more of something that people do want to know what it is, and they do want to know what it's about and how to really get into it. So, I mean, I guess I can kind of go ahead and start with this. Like, what is it that some people want to know about cosplay, about how to get into it? I'm more than willing to take questions, to answer questions, things like that.
Yeah, we're completely open to Q&A at any time. Just raise your hand and we see you. Raise it high enough because I'm blind.
But, so I guess do anyone have questions to start? Because if not, we do have like kind of a pre-generated script thing that we have gone off of in years past, and I would love to change it up a little bit if we can. No hands. No.
Oh, come on! Don't be shy. This isn't high school anymore.
Don't let me intimidate you.
Yes. Yes.
Can anybody cosplay?
Yes.
Anyone
and everyone can cosplay, and
even your dog.
Yes, or your cat, whatever you have, or your
If you can get your cat to wear a costume.
Yeah, that's actually. I'll go ahead and take that segue. So that is something that I'll start with this. Like, it's kind of usually our ender topic. It's part of the whole cosplay is not consent movement, but it generally does span to a bigger picture. I am of the mindset that says wear whatever you want. If you feel comfortable with it and you want to rock a costume, do it. You need to. Like, it's awesome. It's acceptable. No one is judging you except yourself. And
the
if
only
they-
asterisk on that is whatever the convention bars
Yes,
you from wearing.
that
Follow
too.
those rules,
Yeah,
please.
well, follow that rules. But
body
it's yeah. Please don't
Full
come
on
to
body
con
paint.
in full on body paint
Nothing
and
but body paint.
pasties.
Yeah. Don't do that.
No, not to a family friendly convention. I mean, there's others you can.
I'm sure you'll find a convention
For sure.
somewhere.
But that's one thing that I know I've especially, and that's one of the reasons why I know cosplay, especially in Montana's community, at times can be really intimidating, as we have had some people in the past who have been a little more harsh. I know when I first started costuming, I didn't know very many people, and I did get bullied by a lot of the ones who were costuming longer than I was. And that's something that I really do want to kind of stress, don't be afraid. They're just being, forget my language, but they're just being dicks to be dicks. That's honestly the best way that I can phrase it. Do you. Like, it's like with your clothes, with your everyday clothes. Make it look like you want to. Say you want to be Starfire from Teen Titans. You're not comfortable wearing a belly suit or something that's like super scandalous. You can get nylon to go over it. You can make a bodysuit to go under it. Like, anyone and everyone can cosplay. That's my biggest thing. Is like, don't ever let someone tell you.
Don't let the haters
can't.
bring you down.
Don't
Because
let the haters
even
hate.
to this day, I go to bigger. Like, I haven't had anything here. MizCon's great. The community is amazing.
This is the place to start
But
if you're
at
gonna start.
SakuraCon, the bigger ones, the 40,000 plus people, I get trashed every year in the costumes I wear. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm having a good time. I'm there to enjoy it, wear what I made, and respect others that wore theirs.
Are you saying other people in costumes make fun of you, or what?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But don't let it get you down.
Yeah, never ever let it get you down, ever. Because if I would have stopped years ago, I never would have continued doing what I'm doing now.
I think your question might have been that I'm being made fun of in my costume. No, it's not because I'm wearing the costume. It's because something's out of place, or they could have made it better.
Yeah.
That's usually where the people are starting to nitpick your costume, and that's really not what this is about. It's about doing what you can with what you have and enjoying the time with people with the like mind.
Yeah.
That's probably not representative of the whole community. You're just
No, that's
No.
what we're getting at.
That's what
There's
we're getting
usually
at,
just
is
a
that-
few people that are just being mean
Yeah,
for no
it's-
reason, and it's usually people that just are uncomfortable or unhappy. They usually have their own reasons. Just let it slide.
Why do you keep looking at me?
Because I want you to
Just in
say
case you have something
something.
to say.
We just want you to say something. Use your voice.
Use my voice. I don't know. I don't have anything to add to that. You guys covered it pretty well. So next topic.
Next topic.
Good
Yes.
question.
What is your biggest cosplay struggle?
My biggest cosplay
Well, we're
struggle-
doing the advanced panel tomorrow.
So, time. Time is always my biggest struggle. Like, I'll be real. I made this in like 2 days. 2 days. I think the total time was a little less than 10 hours. Wig wefting included, and I'm not happy with it, but you know, I run around in it and it's gonna get trashed anyway, so why would I spend that much time on it? But yeah, time. I procrastinate really bad. I will very much so admit that I am. Look at me, I'm like so nervous. I'm like, God, you guys called me out on it. Yeah, I am the biggest procrastinator, and that's one thing I do want to stress to people. It's always better to get your costume done way early than it is to get it done the night before con. I can tell you horror stories that I've had at convention hotels, hand sewing things together, hot gluing stuff together.
This is a
Like,
good jump point for
You
me
know,
to go into what I was going to
it's
say.
something. Yeah, time is my big thing.
Before going into my biggest pain, it's on this time issue. That's usually one thing I tell new cosplayers that are like, oh, you know, I'm going to be Tyrael from Diablo or things. That's one example that's come up recently. And it's their first ever costume, and that's good for them. If they want to do that as their first, do it. Just know that that's going to be a lot of time-consuming stuff that you're doing. I have 3 categories of costumes. There's the costume that can be generated within a couple months, which is like, oh, the con is 4 or 5 weeks away. I could probably buy the rest of the pieces and have this done. Something like that's modern from Resident Evil or something like that. Where most of the stuff is something you can just purchase on Amazon. The second category is, oh, the con is in several, like 4 or 5 months. I have some time to make something, such as Kylo Ren, something like that. And then I have the third category, which is this costume is done when it is done. I currently have 3 projects in that box, and all of them are entire suits of armor, because they are time consuming. They take a ton of time and dedication, which, as you know, we probably just said, we don't have the dedication to put to
Yeah,
it.
and that's the other thing too, is if you work a full-time job, if
Yeah.
you go to school and work a job, or even if you're just a full-time student, plan, definitely plan around. Like, I know for me, I have to do maintenance nights every once in a while. I also teach dance on the side. I have to schedule, like, this is my time to cosplay. I will admit, there have been nights where I've been like, this is my time to cosplay. I'm going to play Legend Dragoon on my PSP for hours and not care about the world. What would you say yours is, Jess?
I work best under pressure. Yeah, I really do.
She's the opposite of us.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing, though.
I feel like I do my best work under pressure. Just
Yeah,
saying.
you do.
This costume took about 40 hours, and that's not over the span of months. That's over the span of weeks. I took it to work on it, and I'm still not happy with it. It will be redone. Also,
God,
finances is an issue.
We'll get to that one.
Yeah.
My biggest issue is actually more of a personal one. Mine is patience, and I don't know if a lot of people out there have the same problem as me. I'm not an instant gratification type, but I trash myself when I'm working a lot, and if I get down on a project, I just don't have the patience to actually see it through to the end a lot. And that's why I work in a team, and we'll get back to that in a minute. But and it helps because it keeps me focused. It keeps me trying to get stuff done, even if I'm not appreciative of what I've done. Let's get back to that finance thing, because that one's
Yeah,
different.
finances. So, how many of you are, like, seriously, like, how many of you do costume already?
Well, we have a couple.
I know we have a couple here. Yeah. How many of you want to tell me, how expensive is it, do you find, for yourself?
Depends on the costume.
Pretty costume dependent?
My full Palico probably costs around getting close to $200.
All right. And just for those who don't know, Palico is basically a giant cat.
Giant cats.
From the Monster Hunter series.
I'll be wearing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically the equivalent of a giant fursuit, I think is the best way to describe it. But yeah, finances can be really hard. I know when I was in college and I was starting off getting more into cosplay, I actually set aside money as a cosplay pot. Like I split up my bank account and I would pull money out each week and put it in a jar in our bathroom. Specifically, yeah, she's laughing because she's seen me cash in this jar because there's tons of change in it too. And I would cash that in right like 2 months, 3 months before every convention we would go to, just so that I'd say this is what I have. There would be some times where I would go to my friends at the local fabric store and be like, guys, here's my money. I love you. Help me. Help me make this magic happen. Either give me an employee discount or give me coupons,
You talk about that's why you live with me.
That's why I keep you around. But it's can be expensive. Luckily, now that's becoming more mainstream, though, it is starting to become much cheaper. A lot of costume pieces you can find at Goodwill and secondhand stores. I have found so many amazing costume pieces at Goodwill, especially Goodwill here in Missoula, and in Great Falls, and then like Secret Seconds. This bracer came from a bag of leather that was picked up at Secret Seconds, like just a full bag of leather scraps for $3. Who does that? Who does that? But you can.
And
pick
if
things
not
up.
a full piece, like she was saying, the scraps, you can get raw materials from thrift stores for cheap.
Yeah.
Sheets.
Sheets, yeah, bed sheets. We'll be the first to tell you, bed sheets are your best friends for costumes.
Assuming
Like-
you can find the color and 1,000 count.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Necessarily 8,000 count. It's a quick one.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Dye
yeah, exactly.
Make sure it's cotton.
Yeah, make sure it's cotton. No, but yeah, like seriously, bed sheets. I can't tell you how many costumes I've made out of old bed sheets. Like, I think this is probably one of the first ones I've worn to MizCon that's not bed sheet, which is weird. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm not as comfy. Why? But things like that. You can piece stuff together online. I mean, Amazon Prime isn't like Amazon in general, but having Prime and being able to get something to your doorstep in 2 days.
Time constrained again. Don't rely on that.
Don't rely on that though. I almost had a bad time this year with that. Almost. But Amazon Prime. Amazon's actually starting to get a lot of more mainstream and popular costumes in. So, like, you can find your Naruto, you can find Bleach, you can find lots of Vocaloid now, which is pretty cool to see.
As a finished product.
As a
that you can
it's
buy.
finished product. It's pre-done costumes that you can buy, which that's totally fine. Never let anyone tell you that you can't do that. Like, I know I've seen that happen before, and it's like, no, you should wear it and have fun. That's the whole point here. And like other resources too. I'm a pretty big fan of AliExpress, Light in the Box, and eBay. I was like, where is it that I bid? Where do I get all my wigs from? eBay. Are
As far
absolutely
as
fantastic.
how I finance my projects, I go a little bit more extreme on it. And that's just because of past experiences with managing my money. Is I usually will pick a costume in the long run, say, oh yeah, okay, this is one I'd like to do at some point. I never put time frames on anything because time. Until it's a costume that I can be like, okay, yeah, that's doable in an amount of time. But I start with it and then start pricing out my raw materials to just a ballpark, and then put a tag on it, like plus or minus $10 to get to the nearest 100, usually, or 10. And then that's my ballpark that I'm shooting for to set aside all that money. And then once I have at least half of that, I start buying the stuff to work on it. And that's just to me to cover my own. So I know I have money in my account for day-to-day life as well as my costume. If you want to go that extreme, it usually helps out once you get more into it when you're paying for more expensive stuff like Warbler and swords and whatnot.
And pleather.
and
And
pleather.
pleather, yeah.
And pleather. And pleather. Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
finance yours, Jessica?
Tears.
Tears. Maiden's tears.
No, it's kind of, I calculate how much my materials are going to cost, and then I just look at my paychecks and be like, I can afford to buy this. And then sometimes I don't do that, and I get myself in trouble. So,
Maybe we should talk after this.
Yeah, not gonna happen. All my cosplays for probably the next 3 years, I already have material for. Because I buy in bulk.
Yeah, she buys in bulk. That's the other thing too. Buying in bulk. This is gonna sound like what you guys are crazy. eBay is your best friend for buying in bulk for material. I'll be honest. I have never had a sour experience. If you're gonna sell it and if you're gonna make it yourself, yeah, it's good. Like this, all this came from eBay.
A lot of times too, you can find pleather for like $10 cheaper on eBay
Per yard.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately bought all this locally. So you don't want to know how much you spent on it.
Not to spend.
How much did you spend on it?
$500
Woo!
on everything.
She's probably
What are
got
we
one of the
making?
more expensive costumes.
Yeah.
No, this is probably my most expensive.
Is that one your most? Okay.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think the stag dress is your second. Or
That's
something.
not why they came here to
Well,
listen to us talk
surprisingly,
about
I got that
expensive
material
costumes.
for like
Sorry.
$8.
We have a
Yes.
question on the side.
On the topic of sewing your own costumes versus buying things, like how much are you guys sewing and how much of your own pattern making are you doing? Or are you finding patterns?
That's a really good question
That's a
that
great
I was
question.
going to go to. So, Kyla, do you want to stand up real quick
Fine.
and show people
Demo.
out to the side? So, this is an example of a pattern that was totally done 100% out of my brain. This one was 100% patterned on a dress form. So I took that brown, like, you can get big rolls of it at Home Depot or any hardware store. It was just the brown construction paper roll. And I just pinned it up onto my thing and just basically did what you do for draping and drew it out. But you can do a lot of stuff from patterns. I know Simplicity and McCall's are really getting in on this cosplay thing. They're jumping on this right now, which is phenomenal, and I'm so happy they are. There are great patterns out there that they provide and that they advertise. I know especially for like cat suits and stuff like that, 100% recommend getting a pattern. I myself have had unfortunate pattern instances without one, so I'm just like, yes, please, get pattern. You don't want my pain.
So to answer
But-
that question directly, it usually comes down to the
Yeah.
type of project you're working on. But most projects that we do anymore these days are, I love this term, are usually Franken patterns, where you take a piece of a pattern
We got that
that's
from
already
you.
complete. Yeah, she came up with that name. Where it's already complete and done by, Simplicity or some professional company, and then you're like, okay, that's a good base, and then you chop it to pieces and build your own sections to finish out and flesh it out.
Or combining multiple patterns.
Or that.
Doing something that it's available. You can just be like, I like this pattern and this pattern.
Gonna make them have a baby pattern. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm going to just touch on this quick. It's probably more of an advanced panel type thing, but to make something like this also is patterned. It's using Pepakura or papercraft files, which are three-dimensional pictures. I'm sorry I dropped it, okay? Sorry about that mic. The three-dimensional pictures are basically blown apart, flattened, and then you print it out, and then cut it all out, and then glue it and paper mache it all together, and that's your base. And then what we did with this is the inside, it has a foam layer, just craft foam. Same thing, put it together, put it in its shape, and then the final stage of the fleshing it out is Warbler, and then wood glue, and we'll go into that in the advanced panel more. But those are patterned sometimes as well. Other times it's just completely a winging it type situation.
Another great resource for patterns that I've really been tapping into recently is because I'm starting to get more into armor making, is the SCA has a really great stockpile of free patterns online that are absolutely phenomenal to use for this. I definitely recommend it.
I encourage you to talk to them too. I think they're here this week.
Yeah, they're here this year, and they also, they're great because it's mostly historical patterns and historical designs, so it's phenomenal resources. Any other questions? Not.
No more questions?
Yeah, if not, so I'll go ahead and I guess we wanted to do props or wigs next, or makeup.
Start with props.
Props. Okay, so we'll start with
Throw me under the bus.
Yeah, go.
Oh, well, I guess we can share the spotlight then.
Yeah.
If you want to start.
I'm gonna sit back for this one.
Actually, I use my husband for my prop making.
So I guess I'm the one who's starting the bus. Not all costumes are like, some costumes such as Team Fortress people, are pretty bland as is. What sells them the most is the prop you bring with you. And props can be a pain because it's one thing to be like, okay, I have this pattern that I've made, and now I just have to stitch it together. Obviously, some of you don't know how to sew, so that can be difficult. But sew it together, and then it's okay. I got that. Whereas you look at, go to Sakura-Con where they don't allow any Nerf, anything like that. So you have to build from the ground up. And if you know nothing about firearm construction, you're just like, where do I even begin? And there's all kinds of resources for this. What I normally use for like rifles and things like that is the stock body of the gun. I usually go with insulation board from your local hardware store, blue foam board. Cut out your shape, sand it down to the shape you want, cover it in wood glue. Again, more advanced stuff that we'll talk about in the other panel. But there's all kinds of stuff, and hardware stores are your friend. That and home resources locally here is a, what do they call that? It's kind of a resale.
It's like a recycled.
Yeah, recycled construction
hardware
stuff.
It's a cosplay prop haven. That's what
That's
I call
what it is. It's usually, most places have them. It's where construction companies take their excess from a build project and give it to them to resell at dimes. Like, you get them so cheap. And that's where I get a lot of my stuff. PVC piping, just anything you can think of, really. Bulbs, whatever you need. It really depends on the project. That's why it's hard to talk to props directly unless you guys have specific questions on the prop. Some of the other things about props is the lighting, obviously, building your own lighting into your equipment. And if you're interested in that, I encourage you to come to our panel tomorrow for the advanced cosplay, because we're going to talk about it. Any specific questions about prop making that you have out there?
For certain ground up materials, do you if it's curved like the staff right there is sort of curved, or if it's completely straight, or if it has a particular shape,
Right.
do you get a flexible rod as sort of a skeleton underneath
It depends on what you're doing with it. I would actually recommend for something like that to go with, like Worbla is a great product because it's just a heat malleable plastic. You cut to the shape you want, heat bond it, and then it's shaped.
This is actually made of craft foam and cardboard. My husband stacked cardboard together and cut out the shape, and then rounded it out with craft foam, and then of course resin and fiberglass, and that's all it is.
That's how much was that probably?
$10.
$10.
The
yeah.
most of it
So that's
was the
probably your
light bulb.
cheaper option if you want to go like that. Obviously, I mentioned Worbla because it's kind of a hypoallergenic situation. So if you have aversions to chemical fumes such as fiberglass, you might not want to do that.
Yes.
Do you use EVA foam at all?
Absolutely,
Yes.
it's a
Sorry,
great
yes.
product
Yes, I love EVA foam. I love it a lot.
for thicker armor.
Yeah,
That's
it's
usually what I
perfect
do.
for thicker armor pieces, especially if you need to like have something that's gonna stay on you more. Like for me, I've tried doing breastplates out of Worbla for myself, and they don't quite stay on right. The thicker stuff, you can actually buckle it down harder and like cinch it tighter and not worry about it having any sliding issues. It's amazing. I love it a lot.
Question?
Yeah.
You build up like a giant closet full of costumes over the years?
Yes.
We have a basement.
Yeah, you've seen my basement. Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. Yeah, this can be very addictive. Like,
I don't have a problem.
So
It's
you're-
okay.
I don't have a problem. Yeah, every so often you do. Like, I did have. We actually recently moved this summer. And when we moved, I realized how many costumes that I actually had, and it was disturbing. And yeah, so you build up quite the collection. I tend to rewear costumes after that happened. I've started to rewear costumes that I've done in the past. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, most people will accumulate a closet. You have bins. I know I have bins under my staircase
Pins and
right
boxes.
now.
I have a bad
and
habit
there's-
of helmets and masks and whatnot. I've taken to just decorating my walls with them, and it creeps people out. But
But one of the really cool things though is that there's a huge market right now, especially in the Facebook community. There's cosplay sales and cosplay exchange that are both on there, and those are really valuable resources because you can relist and resell your costumes, or even find pieces and find costumes on there. It's
usually
pretty-
cheap.
Yeah, real cheap, like at a steal. It's awesome. I got what was it? It was a Kaneki. It was from Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki Ken. I got his entire outfit from the second season for like $15. It was totally fine condition. The gal was just like, I can't wear this. I'm pregnant. Sorry. Here, take it. So But yeah, that was a great question. It will happen.
Another thing that wasn't mentioned for costume, if you don't have the aptitude or desire to build your own, there's always commission as an option. If you know somebody that's really good at making stuff, you can always say, hey, look, I'm willing to pay for all of the product or all the raw materials and pay you for your time, commission them to make your costume. That's always an option as well.
What are things you have to be worried about for commissions?
Oh,
Be aware that whoever's making it's going to want you to come over, probably several times for fittings.
I think Jess is the best person.
Online.
Yeah. Jess would
Go
be
ahead and
the
talk
best
to
person
that.
to talk about that.
If you are commissioning someone who is not local, you need to be very willing to take all the measurements that they're going to need, which if I'm doing something incredibly involved, I will require 15 to 20 different measurements. So I can make sure that it's going to be the best fit. I am actually being commissioned next year to do a screen accurate costume of Deadpool, and I'm requiring him to send me a duct tape dummy so I can get the best fit. You have to be open to doing things like that. Do not say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds before I wear this costume. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Give them your actual measurements. Otherwise, it's not going to fit right. And it's not going to be a pretty picture because you're going to spend so much money on this, and it's stressful for the person doing it, and it's stressful for the client.
Yeah.
So just be 100% ready to do just about anything. And if there is something that comes up, there's going to be the expectation of additional money.
Yeah, and that's something that I ran into last year. I took my first out-of-state commission, and whereas it went pretty positively, as a commissioner myself, one thing I will say is don't harass your person. I was very much so rushed to make Catherine with a C's outfit from the game Catherine. So weird to say, but. It wasn't a difficult costume, but the thing is I was hounded and harassed so much over the span of a week. I was getting ready and prepping for MissCon. I was getting ready to move, and I told her this, and I was like, hey, look, I have a life too. I'm not just a person on the other side here. You have to be willing to work with me. And that's definitely something that I say as people who would be interested in commissioning someone, make sure you know that. They're real people too, and they need some help.
One of the other things to be aware of too is sometimes really great commissioners aren't in your country.
Yeah.
Shipping is a big one, even in your own country, depending on what you're getting.
Shipping is huge.
Like if you're having someone make a helmet for you, this box is going to cost a pretty penny to ship it to you, and probably keep it packed so it doesn't get crushed, because the Postal Service. And then if it's international, you're looking at a lot of money for shipping. They're
And a
not
lot
cheap.
of time.
Yeah.
And time, yeah.
On time. That's a good one.
I think those are the big ones to be aware of. Thanks for that, though.
Well, scammers. I've never been scammed, but I do know that there are scammers out there, so do your research. That's all I can really say for that.
I haven't really ordered anything from anyone except for like wigs and certain jewelry pieces, but I have spoken to someone who had an experience that was not very good. She spent an enormous amount of money on this costume, and they never gave her updates and kept asking for money. And then when she finally got it, it looked like they'd purchased it at a store. So if you are going to go with someone, see if you can find any reviews and make sure they're going to keep in touch with you. Give you updates, give you pictures, so you can prove that they're actually working on it.
That's true. So
There are those people out there.
yeah, it's really sad. But if we don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and jump into, since we talked a little bit about props, I'm going to talk about wigs a little bit, because that is one thing that can help a costume out a lot. I know if I were to take this off right now, my hair is like this short. I don't have hair. I don't got hair right now, guys. But no, wigs are phenomenal. They can definitely change what you look like. They can change your skin. I mean, depending on the color of wig, it can alter how your skin tone looks. It can alter what the costume as a whole looks like. I'm all for if you have hair that you can, like natural hair that you can use for a costume, go ahead and do it. I mean, that's what I did for years. I used my own hair and I just teased it. Like, it would be like out to here. I'd be like, yeah, look at my big hair. And then by the end of the night, it would have flattened out and be greasy and disgusting. But I was like, yeah, look at my big hair when I started. Hello, Bracer. where'd you come from? But wigs are amazing, and
Resources.
there's so many things that you can do with them, and so many places that you can get them from. I get most of mine off of eBay, and generally speaking, there's really not much to it. It's quite literally, you get what you pay for. If you're spending $5 on a wig,
Buy 3 of them.
buy 3 of them. Yeah, that's a pretty good. Buy 3 of them and then sew them together.
Frankenstein them.
Yeah, that's what this one is. This is 2.
Well, we'll get to the
Yeah.
more thing that
Yeah,
in a
this
minute.
is 2
But no,
$5
you-
wigs.
Usually, from what I've found buying wigs, this is one of the few costumes I haven't had to wear a wig, which has been nice. But one of the things I've found is usually it's 15 to 30 is like the good range for what I've spent on wigs that are usable, that aren't going to just be either too cheap or I have to Frankenstein them or other project type things. Anything beyond that is a premium. Yeah, you can buy really nice wigs that are gonna, like, you can get as, like, what is it, horsehair wigs and stuff for oodles of money.
Natural hair wigs.
If you plan on wearing it for a costume for till the end of time, go for it. Spend the money on it. Or if you need the wig to wear day to day anyway, go for it. But I wouldn't recommend spending probably over $45 on a wig.
Yeah, they're great if you're opposed to ordering from a Chinese reseller like through eBay or even Amazon does. I mean, these wigs were definitely same quality of what I buy from overseas. There are 2 really great wig sellers here in the States. Arta Wigs is one of them. They do run in the higher range. And they do have ones that are pre-styled. You can get ones that have ponytail clips. You can get ones that have lace front wigs that you can weft widow's peaks into.
Higher range being $45 to $60.
Yeah, and they can be, you can use heat on them without fear, that kind of thing. And then Epic Cosplay wigs as well. They're actually my preferred one just because their wig size, I have a smaller head, so it's really difficult for me to find a wig that fits on my head right. And Epic Cosplay sells more in the smaller range. If you have a larger head, like Lily here, sometimes you got a big head. So you got a big head. I do recommend skipping out on the eBay thing completely and just going straight through Arta. Their lines are designed for larger heads. I mean, specifically because we are, we're Caucasian, just physiologically we do have a little bit of bigger body structure, so they have their wigs made for that reason, which is pretty cool. And both places, you don't have to worry about wefting things together or adding anything to it. They're thick, they're full. They're heat resistant, which is another thing. If you're ordering overseas, like a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, I want to curl my wig, or this wig is curly, but it's the perfect shade, and I want to straighten it out. You really have to be careful and test. I mean, I know Jessica here up front, she watched me 2 nights ago straighten a wig with a hair straightener in my basement, and cut it. And we were like, oh, I hope this doesn't melt. Here we go.
Low heat.
No, it was on high. It was the highest side. It started low. I started low, and then it wasn't straightening. I'm like, let's turn it up. It's not straightening. Let's turn it up. It's not straightening. Full heat with turbo. And then it straightened. But that was also one of the kind of Kelon fiber ones. So
Yeah,
I-
that's impressive.
I know it was mighty impressive. We were pretty impressed. We thought they were gonna melt.
Yeah, I only do mine on low temp, either to curl or to straighten.
Quit touching my weave.
Question.
When buying online, like eBay and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
how do you make sure that there's no like lice or parasites or anything like that?
Oh,
I know it's really
most of the stuff actually comes pre-made out of factories.
Yeah,
So
it's like factory packaged
yeah.
most of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just
And if
Have an eye on
that's the beauty of eBay too,
Have an
is if
eye.
you have an issue with the seller, work through eBay, and I've never had an issue. Every problem I've ever had, and it hasn't been cosplay related at all, has been fixed within 24 hours. So
Because the nice thing about, especially because you said lice and parasites stuff, the nice thing about wigs, these are all plastic. That's why she was
Yeah.
like, wow, it didn't melt. Most of these wigs are all plastic fibers. So,
do you know parasites that live off plastic? I don't.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I do
exactly.
too.
There's the wig
fear.
cap that could cause problems
Yeah.
because it's made of fabric, it's made of elastic,
Exactly.
and sometimes
Okay,
there's
sure.
netting.
yeah,
If you're scared about that, you can wash them.
yeah. It's
You can
in,
just let them soak, and always use a little bit of fabric softener.
Also worth mentioning too for care of wigs is after a convention of wearing a wig 2 days that's covered in glue, and I mean not to point out a wig It's disgusting and covered in.
Yeah, this one it
She's
smells.
not wearing
It
wigs.
smells pretty bad. Like I'll be real, it smells really bad. It feels really gross.
You can stagnant wash them in like you're in the bottom of your bathtub with some baby shampoo. That's really all it takes.
Yep.
The only thing to be concerned about when washing wigs that way is if you have a wig that's curl or pre-styled, it'll lose that ability, like that styling. So you'll have
Curled won't. Usually,
some of them will.
some do.
I've
If
seen
it's a
3
cheaper,
curled wigs lose their curls.
if it's a cheaper wig,
I've had
it
to repair
will.
them.
Yeah, just take it up to dry.
Sometimes they'll come back.
But yeah, it's pretty easy to restyle them. So it's not that big a deal. Unless it's one some of those crazy wigs like Cloud Strife or something got big spikes coming off. Question in the back.
Yeah, I've had problems with sizing for kids.
Yeah.
cosplay.
Yeah.
This thing that he's wearing is Naruto.
Yep.
Yeah.
It took him 2 years to get into an extra small
Yeah.
Sure.
for Halloween, so I had 50 pins in it to try to keep it, and he just now fits into it.
Mhm.
Sure.
And it was a child's extra small off video.
Yeah, that can be a problem. I
That's
know.
one of the downsides to doing a buy finished goods thing is that you kind of have to rely on the whim of whatever the quote unquote standard sizing is. Whereas if it's made by hand, it's fit to the person that it's being made
Yeah.
for.
One of the big things that I do recommend, and I'm sure you guys did this, is just double check their size charts. My first cosplay that I actually ever purchased, I wore a kimono dress thing from a manga called Count Kane to my junior prom. Yeah. I've been a nerd that long. What?
Be proud.
Be proud. To my junior prom, and when it showed up, like I remember we did all the measurements perfectly, and we sent them off to the place because it was custom sized. And when I got it, I had to take it to a seamstress here, and it cost us $200 to get it taken down 3 dress sizes. I didn't lose weight from the time that I bought it. I was the same size, same weight, same measurements that we sent. It's really, it can be hit or miss, and it's
The other
kind of
thing too to
unfortunate.
keep in mind is depending where you're ordering from, such as China or whatnot, make sure to do their measurements in their standard meters,
Centimeters,
things like that. Because if you just send it in inches, it's up to their calculations whether or not you're going to get the
Yeah.
proper conversion.
And that is one that I have seen actually pretty recently. Is that sizing when you're purchasing something online? You know, a lot of the places, like if you go, I mean, I know a lot of places like I buy Lolita gear, and I go through Bodyline most of the time because it's the Walmart for lolis, and it's wonderful in every way. And you really have to watch sizing. So like in the U.S., I'm anywhere from an extra small to a small. In Asia, I am a medium to a large. You know, you really just have to just have your tape measure. That's all I can really say. Just kind of look for it. If it is a little too small, like kids' costumes are really rough.
Yeah.
They are. It's
Found out that.
it's very
Yeah.
difficult to find a child's costume that's going to fit right. I think
Jess, you probably have better things to say.
Yeah,
You have
we
a
don't
kid.
have kids. We have a cat. You know, we just
Yeah,
messed that up.
and our cat's not going to wear a costume, so.
This
she's
year,
not.
try. I'm
Look how
just terrible
offended
luck at like
Oh, come on, we
Halloween, so
put
still-
costumes on our cats.
And-
Rico has a lobster costume.
What? Okay, sorry. We'll
Speak.
talk. We'll talk.
Oh, I had a story about someone dressing up their cat because they named him Gatsby, and so they put him in a grape costume and called him the Grape Gatsby.
That's
Oh.
adorable.
But anyway, no, sizing costumes for your kid.
As far as kids' costumes, I have purchased a couple for my daughter and I've just not been very pleased. I usually end up making them or modifying them. If safety pins and clips, if they can be hidden, are awesome. Even just like the little, like the, I don't even know what to call them, document clips. That's
Oh, binder clips.
yeah, binder clips, those are great. But if you have the resources or you know someone who can modify it, that's wholly what I recommend. I made my daughter a Black Cat costume for Halloween. That's what she wanted to be. She wanted to be Black Cat from Marvel. So I just bought some fur trim, bought a hoodie, bought a black pair of pants, bought a black t-shirt. I bought her a wig off of eBay and then just sized it down, a little white curly wig, and bought her a little face mask. She was Black Cat. It was all bought at the store, which you can do that and then make or purchase like patches or anything like that to sew on them, just to modify it to look like it. It may not be 100%, but it's
For
also
kids' costumes, they're going to grow out of.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you might not want to sink as much as I did into this helmet.
This Naruto outfit was, I think, $75, and like I said, I had dozens upon dozens. clips trying
Yeah.
to get size. And
Yeah, that's.
it was just this year that we're like, let's see if this thing fits now.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
just now.
Well, it's awesome, and that's what matters.
That's good that it fits now, but that's quite a bit to sink into something for it not to fit.
Extra small,
Yeah.
whatever.
Was it an extra small for like adults, or was it supposed to be kids?
This was, I ordered off of Cosplay Magic.
Sure.
Yeah, it was, it said child's extra small even on the package.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's-
Odd.
I would recommend leaving a review on their page.
Yeah, it's romantic.
So I just double checked the time. So I'm just gonna kind of segue off of our previous discussion
Okay.
for wigs and stuff, because I'll probably talk more about it tomorrow's
So
panel. What are you doing to me? I'll talk about it more tomorrow, like just about wefting wigs, what that actually means, different types, things like that. I kind of want to talk on makeup because I'm not wearing makeup today. I'm like 100% sans makeup, so I feel it's a good time to talk about it.
Probably can't tell. It's not very good because I was tired this morning. For makeup, it's kind of it's up to discretion. If you want to go full on, then if it's an anime character, you don't really have to do a lot.
Depends on the anime character.
Yeah.
It depends on the that's primarily what it is. Depends on the character. I'm going to speak to this out of my history nerddom. If you're going as a historical character from a show or from a movie or from an anime, research historical makeup. Which, if you're going as a woman, they didn't wear makeup unless they were a lady of the night. So just you can wear makeup, but I just recommend like basic foundations, eyeshadows, lip gloss, like light tinted stuff. For makeup as general rule, you really don't need to go overboard unless it calls for it. If you're doing a guy and if you're female and doing a guy, you do want to do contouring on the cheeks a little bit, which you probably can't tell that I've got contouring. Just do a little bit masculine. Enhance your eyebrows. Basically what you're going to want in your arsenal for costume makeup is a really good cover-up, a good foundation, eyeliner.
Good
all you
concealer.
need.
Wanting good concealer
That's
too.
that's what I meant.
We've been here
This-
early since yesterday. Sorry.
This also, and I do want to stress this because there are quite a few guys in the audience. Makeup goes for guys too.
Yeah.
Not even if you're being a dude. Throw on some guy liner. Come on.
I was just gonna say it's not
Just
even just the
do it.
Captain Jack
The
Sparrow's
eyes.
thing. Like, yeah, that's thick makeup, but just a touch of eyeliner will just pop your costume. It really does help.
And that it also helps. Like, and I'm weird. I kind of throw in colored contacts with the makeup thing because it's part of that same routine for me. But contacts, if you have any, or colored contacts, they really do bring out a costume. Like, for years, I did not think that they did, and then I started wearing them. I was like, ha.
Kind of gives it that final pop.
It gives it that
And
final
eyebrows.
pop. And I know a lot of people wonder, is it safe? Is it okay? I've done a lot of research on it. I've taken my lenses to local optometrists. They've all told me that they're fine as long as you don't wear them for, what is it? It's like, don't sleep in them and don't wear them for over 10 hours solid.
They recommend 8.
They recommend 8.
But
But, we don't listen.
we don't listen because
We
other
don't-
conventions we stay for like 12 plus hours a day. So
But and then another question that I've had come up, because it's come up with me personally. I remember sitting in these chairs back when the convention was at Ruby's years ago, asking these same questions to people during makeup panels is, what do you do when you're allergic to half of the makeup that's out there? I have really, really sensitive skin, so one of the reasons why I chose yesterday and today to not wear any makeup is because I wore some for the show last night and I'm super bruised down here. This is not from lack of sleep. This is what happens when I wear makeup, is I get extremely bruised. And then it itches, and then I'm sad. But wear something. There's a lot of hypoallergenic makeup out there. Like, there's the Bare Minerals stuff. There's, you can buy really expensive makeup, but you need to do your research on what's in it. I have to use a lot of like Urban Decay, which sucks because it's expensive, and I don't like paying that much money.
A lot of movie grade makeup too is
Yeah.
going to be hypoallergenic because
Yeah,
they
like
have to work
Ben Nye.
with that. Yeah, so
Ben Nye's
definitely
awesome.
that. You had a question.
Yeah, mine's kind of the reverse of the contacts issue.
Yeah,
I can't wear contacts, and I
Right.
it's fine.
can't see this far in front of me without
Yeah,
the glasses.
Wear the glasses.
Well, what do you
Hang
do
on.
when it totally doesn't fit with?
I can speak to that. Right now I'm wearing clear contact lenses, which I only am wearing because I needed vision in the helmet to spar swords with somebody because I didn't want to hit him. Normally, if I have a costume that I wear glasses every other day. If I have a costume that I wear my glasses day to day and then I don't want to wear contacts because I don't drink enough water and they dry out and it's awful, I'll just go sans glasses and have a friend be like, hey, no, there's a person there, move them. I'm serious. Like, if you're that worried about it and have friends with you, just go without your glasses.
Or-
unless you're really, really dangerous.
Take them off for pictures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, take them off for pictures. Or what I see a lot of other people do is they'll twist it and be like, well, I'm the hipster version.
Yeah, no, get those big, thick hipster ones. That's my favorite. There's a gal, she and I in Seattle, we do the same character, just different versions. And she always, every time, she will not wear contacts. And she's like, I'm hipster. I'm just like, God.
Ultimately, it comes down to having a good time. You're not there to be a perfect, accurate representation of this character because, let's face it, most of these characters aren't realistic in the slightest. So it's just about having fun. If someone's going to give you grief over wearing glasses with a costume, really, are they going to take the time to do that? Like, it doesn't matter. Just you be you. That's what matters.
Some will, but you just gotta get over the haters.
Yeah, he's gonna hate. And you just gotta shake it off. You know?
Unless you're
I was gonna
dedicated
do
enough to
Tay-Tay
get
on
those
this.
glasses out. Then you just have to find a friend to lead you around.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're technically kind of that weird limbo area of the 10-minute to filter out, ask questions type of thing. So does anyone have any other questions? Like these intro panels are kind of, we like doing them and we love getting people into cosplay, but we really love to hear from you and we really love to hear your questions or something you're working on. If you have a project that you have a question about, that's really what we're here for and we want to help you.
Right, and feel free if you see us walking around to come up and ask us questions too. Like, it's not restricted to this room.
I like talking. I like helping people. I like making
And
things.
then, if anything more advanced, is the panel tomorrow at. Check your schedules, please.
We're panelists and they didn't give us schedules.
Yeah, we haven't seen a schedule yet, so
Packet?
We didn't get a packet.
we didn't get a packet.
No, they didn't
But
have one for us.
so yeah, tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
at
they gave
what,
it to you.
3?
That was the
Next
packet.
week,
Oh,
like,
Yes,
I didn't-
1 p.m. tomorrow.
I didn't
Does
see
it have
the
a room?
packet.
Gallus,
The Gallatin. Thank you.
Thank you. You're the best.
I'm the keeper of your schedule.
Yes, thank you.
Maggie.
Just taking. But we're doing that, and then we're also doing the Warbler. Oh no, that is the tomorrow morning one. Is that? So then we're doing that, and then right after we will be doing a demo as well. We're going to be doing an armor making panel, and then right after we're going to be doing a demo on how to do work with Warbler. So I'm going to actually be bringing heat gun in, some craft foam, and little bits of Warbler. It does have a cost. It's about a $5 to $10 cost per person, but it is a make and take, so you can make it and you can take it home. Like
It's limited too. Isn't it?
it's limited, but I'm not expecting it to really fill up. But I would love to
Well-
see you guys down there.
Now it is.
Now
Now it is. Now
But,
everyone's
but
gonna do
I would
that.
love to see everyone down there and to at least learn because this material it's very intimidating to a lot of people and it's the least intimidating material I've ever used.
We
Like,
use it because it's so
like
simple.
I prefer that's why I'm switching over to armor making is because it's easier than this. So I'd be real. I'm saying secrets out, guys. Secrets out. Just saying. So any other questions, comments, concerns? Anything? I don't know.
I do have a comment.
Yes.
If you have never taken a sewing class before and you decide to cosplay, do yourself a favor and take a basic sewing class.
Yeah.
If you don't own a machine, do yourself a favor, go to a reputable dealer and buy a machine. I say reputable dealer, don't go to Walmart, don't go to Kmart, don't go to Costco.
Well,
Buy a machine
I
because
got mine at Costco and it's
the
great.
reason being is because if you go to a reputable dealer, they will teach you how to use your machine.
True and not true. I actually work at Joanne Fabrics. They no longer
They're not a
offer
reputable
classes.
dealer.
There's probably not one in town then.
Yeah. I have gotten really good. So I have found steals of amazing sewing machines at Goodwill. Believe it or not,
Yes.
that are in amazing condition. You just have to go down and get them tuned up, and that's the biggest thing. Is make sure that it's tuned. Sergers are a different story. I don't want to talk about them right now. They're just mean and evil, but they're the most amazing thing.
Do you sell mine?
I have two.
No.
I have two of them. I have yours and I have Lily's sister's old one, and they're great. They'll give you perfect hems all the time. but they're mean and evil and must be destroyed.
Yeah. Speaking to that, if you can't afford going to a dealer and you do have to resort to going to one of those, but you're still like not sure, YouTube is an excellent resource for learning. YouTube tutorials, that's where I learned how to do honeycomb smocking. And that was fun. I want to do it again.
Ronan.
Back into the realm of newbie, if you have 2 scenes to do, if you're hemming some pants, probably a sewing machine isn't actually an investment you want to make. You want to look into something called stitch witchery, which is literally
Yes.
melt a seam.
That's
It's
what
a
she
glue.
uses.
And I'm gonna be blunt. This is an awesome costume. A lot of this is stitch because I didn't have time to sew it. I've worn this costume now for about 2 years, and it hasn't come apart too bad. So,
Yeah.
just if you're just hemming some pens or
She's-
something,
she's
you know,
very
some pants or
careful with the
something,
costumes.
embrace
I like
stitch witch,
hand
and then
Yeah.
move on to sewing when you want to do some more complicated stuff.
Hand sewing is also a good alternative if you hate yourself.
Truth. Truth. Yes, my little Naruto in the back.
Inside the armor class, they teach you like how to do paint on, and like how to paint on
Yes.
armor. So
Yes.
Is silver and is black on his color, right?
Yes.
Then
Yep, nope, that is super important to do, so of course we're gonna cover it. It's gonna be awesome. Well, that's it. Anyone else? If not, you guys have a great rest of the day. There's 5 minutes left, so we're gonna get our stuff
Feel
cleaned
free
up.
to walk over and ask questions.
How do I shut this off? Oh, no, I found it.
This program was produced in whole or in part with equipment and facilities provided by Missoula Community Access Television.